Welcome to day 5 of Vlogmas. Yesterday we built your buyer pipeline. Today we're building your seller pipeline. And here's why you need two separate pipelines. Buyers and sellers move through completely different journeys, right? A buyer needs showings and negotiations and financing coordination, where a seller needs a listing appointment, staging advice, marketing, open houses, showings. They are two totally different processes. So different timelines, different follow-ups. So today we're building a pipeline specifically for sellers. And then I'm going to show you how to manage both pipelines at the same time without losing your mind. Let's go over to Touchstone. Okay, quick reminder. Yesterday we built this, the buyer journey. It had new leads, if they were qualified, showings, under contract, and if it was closed. This works great for buyers. But think about a seller lead. What do they need? Someone reaches out and says, I'm thinking about selling my house. What's your next step? It's not a showing, it's a listing appointment. And after the listing appointment, if you get the listing, what happens next? The house goes on the market. You track the days on the market. You schedule open houses. You're managing showings. You're reviewing offers. It is a totally different process. That's why you need a separate pipeline, one for buyers and one for sellers. So let's build that. Here are the 5 stages every seller goes through. So remember, we're going to go over to pipelines. We are going to create a pipeline, and we are going to call this one the seller journey, if we can spell it correctly. Okay, this is someone who has reached out. They're expressing interest in selling. Maybe they filled out a home valuation form. Maybe they've called you. Maybe they DM'd you asking, what's my house worth? At this stage, you don't know if they're serious. You don't know their timeline. You just know they're curious. They said, hey, how are you? Talk to me. Your job in this stage is to respond fast, build a rapport, book a listing appointment. Okay, a listing appointment. Let's do that. You've scheduled a time to meet with them. You're going to tour the house and talk about their goals and present your marketing plan and hopefully get them to sign. This is a critical moment. This is where you either win the listing or you don't. What is your job in this stage? You need to show up prepared. You need to nail the appointment. You get the signature. Are you going to list it? Okay, they've signed. The house is now on the market. And now you're in marketing mode. You need photos, MLS listings, social media, open houses, showings. You're driving traffic to the property and waiting for offers. So your job at this stage is to market the hell out of it. Communicate with the seller consistently. Manage their expectations. And then you want that house under contract, right? You got the offer, they accepted, now you're managing the transaction. Inspections, appraisals, repairs, negotiation, closing coordination. Your job at this stage is to keep the deal on track. Don't let anything derail it. And then finally, the ultimate close. They got their money, you got your commission. You want to then ask for a testimonial, ask for referrals, and move them to your past client list. Okay, these are the 5 stages: clean, simple, seller specific. Now, here's something important for sellers. You need to track how long the house has been on the market, right? Let's just say I just listed a house, 123 Main Street. I'm going to create an opportunity. Go back over to opportunities. This time we're going to be looking at the seller journey. We want an opportunity here. This is not the inquiry. This is the listing appointment. So you're going to create an opportunity. Let's say Prairie Dawn. Again, these are all Sesame Street names. Okay, you've had your inquiry with Prairie Dawn. Now it is a listing appointment, but it doesn't really tell you what you need it to say right here, right? This is a little confusing. You want to have your information at a glance. You want the address, you want the contact, you want what stage it's in, which we know what stage it's in, the list price, and an expected close date. That would be great to have on here. So how do we do that? Well, let me show you. Okay, so these are different fields, right? We talked about custom fields a little bit. We're going to go over custom fields more and more because that's what customizes Touchstone to your specific needs. So if we're going to change this, let's go over to custom fields. And this is what's showing right now. These aren't really the fields that we want to have showing. So tags, maybe. Opportunity source, perhaps. That's going to tell you where they came from. Is that necessary at this point? Maybe not for this card. The value, that would be good. You want the house value. If you lose it, you're going to want the lost reason. Okay, say you're not really seeing the ones you want up here. You're going to want to create custom fields for this. So you're going to go to your settings. And in settings, you'll find custom fields. Now, this is where you can add different custom fields for that opportunity. So let's say we want to add a field for an address. That's going to be multi-line. And and we will call this listing address. And where is this going to go? We want this to be on the opportunity card. Remember, before we were putting it in the contact. Now we're going to have it in the opportunity, and then we save it. Okay, let's do another one. Say that we want the list price. So we will put here, this will be a number, and we're going to call this list price. Again, we want this as our opportunity details, and then we will save that. Say we also want the expected close date. That would be a date picker. Here we go. And again, we save that. Now let's go back and be able to add these here. So we'll go up to manage fields, opportunity details. That is where we just add these. So listing price, listing address. Oops, you can only add up to 8 fields. So we need to take some of these out. We took out opportunity owner. We don't really need the business name there. The value and the list price might be redundant. So we'll take out opportunity value. Now we can add back the listing address and the expected close date. Apply that. We don't want it to all pipelines. We just want it to this one. And now Prairie Dawn has that information as well. So let's say her listing price is $410. Oops, we need to not. Okay, so this is actually a good example. This is, I put numeric instead of a single line. A single line would let me use like commas or 4K, something like that. We can only list the actual numbers if we have this numeric. Say the expected close date is Christmas Eve, which would be weird, but that's what we're going to do. And now that refreshes with the information that we added to it. So you'll be able to see more clearly what's going on with each contact in their seller journey when you specifically target the info that you want for you and the way that you work. That's what makes this system powerful. So it seems like a lot to set up when we're setting it up, and it is. I'm not saying it's not, it is. But that's why we set it up one time. We really get into how we do the process, how we do our own workflow. And then we put that in there and then we automate it and it's there and it's easy from then on out and it keeps you accountable. It keeps you on track and you can automate things so that you can do other things in your life besides making sure that your calendar is up to date, that all your contacts are approached in a timely manner. This really does just help you keep organized and on track and on top of it and not lose deals falling through the cracks because you forgot or you were busy and someone else grabbed that opportunity because you had other things going on in your life at the time. So this is just a way for you to have a second you. It kind of clones you, right? If this does seem overwhelming, we do have a done for you service. Let me know, DM me, comment me below, and I can definitely help do that for you. We will sit down and go through what your workflow is and create all of these automations for you. But if not, if you want to learn how to do it, that is what the marketing advent calendar is. That's what Vlogmas is. And that is why by the end of this, you will have a system that works for you and you're not working for it. Okay. I will see you guys tomorrow at 6 a.m. See you tomorrow. Bye.